A couple of weeks ago, I went on a little bit of a rant here on the observation deck about the kind of science fiction we deserve. I was mad about Prometheus. But now I've been thinking about, to paraphrase Commissioner Gordon, the kind of science fiction we need, not the kind of science fiction we deserve. I saw a movie the other day called Beasts of the Southern Wild, and it's sort of sci-fi. It's told through the eyes of a 6-year-old girl, so it's hard to tell whether this tale of a Katrina-like storm that floods a sort of Gulf Coast area maybe in the future and releases kind of giant beasts into the world is just her imagination. But, you know, all stories are imaginary, right? And if Pan's Labyrinth counts as fantasy, this counts as science fiction. But it's a special kind of science fiction, right? It's post-apocalyptic science fiction, and that's a genre I've always loved. Even back when I was staying up after my parents went to bed watching the kind of shot on the cheap in the Mojave sort of stuff, the Mad Max knockoffs. I loved it, and I will go on an adventure in the Forbidden Zone chasing after a Cherry 2000 android at the drop of a hat. But I'm starting to think about post-apocalyptic sci-fi in a different way, and I think that's because it seems a lot more imminent. Stories like Beasts of the Southern Wild or the novel The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi are telling stories not set in the distant future, but, to quote Max Headroom, set 20 minutes in the future, right? They're things that could be happening right now. In fact, they sort of are. As I'm sitting here shooting this, Colorado is basically on fire. There really was a Katrina-like storm. I mean, that really happened. We lost a chunk of the Gulf Coast. And that is worrisome. But we don't watch science fiction about this stuff or read science fiction about it because we want to revel in the end times. We watch it because we hope that science fiction can be, in some cases, better at teaching us things than science. You know, this is a little bit of an embarrassing admission, but to prove my point, I'll tell you that Max Headroom, the show that I mentioned a minute ago, is one of the things that turned me into a reporter. It's a science fiction show. It was good, but maybe a little silly. It was about an intrepid, crusading journalist in kind of a cyberpunk future with a computer-generated version of his id floating around on the monitors behind him all the time telling jokes. And I really wanted to be him. I wanted to be Edison Carter coming to you live and direct for Network 23. Science fiction turned me into a different kind of person, and I think it can do that for everybody. I think that the point of predicting the future sometimes is so that we can change it.